to Wolf Farms. I'm Dawn, also known as Knittin' Wolf.
And I'm James, also known as Wolf Photo. This podcast is brought to you by Wolf Farms. You can find us on the internet at wolffarms.net. We're rolling into the month of November, which means we have a new scent of the month. So you will get 25% off the Apple Crisp fragrance throughout November. So everything in our shop that is in that fragrance, you get 25% off, and we have other sale items as well. That includes our candle. I mean, this is the perfect time of the year for candles. What else? I love that one. But, yeah, so we have this on sale as well as other items. So check that out. I'm sure you'll find something you'll enjoy. Want to welcome new and returning viewers. Thanks for joining us today. I think we got a quick podcast coming up for you, but we'll see how that goes. Because I can get yakking sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes.
So this week's segments includes Farm Happenings, Farmer's Almanac, In the Coop, Squeal Like a Pig, In the Arena, and Roundup.
All right, well, let's get it underway. Farm Happenings.
Farm Happenings.
It's been an interesting week.
It's been everything breaking.
Well, for start things off, Jimmy picked up a computer virus, a pretty nasty one. We've been working for the last couple of days getting it cleaned up.
A week without a teenager and his internet WoW game. Hey,
but you know, it's kind of funny. Get the virus, we have to take it off the network, so it's not sending out information. We're working on cleaning it up. I'm actually working with a person that does this regularly, so we're doing it, but it's a time delay. You know, it's like you send him the files, he reads them over, he gives you something back, you clean stuff up, and it's kind of a back and forth thing. But he's busy, so you know, you just gotta be patient. And it's funny because day one, Jimmy's got no computer, right? So he lives for that thing. He can do his school on his iPad and stuff like that, but he can't do his gaming. You know, he's got it all geared up. So Don texts me a picture at work of him cleaning our ceiling fans. I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. I should have him break the computer more often, because he's actually, I don't know what happened or what transpired to make him do that, but he went through the house and cleaned all our ceiling fans.
We have fans in every room, and even our family room has 2 fans. So
yeah, and our ceiling fans in our front room probably sit about 14 feet off the ground. They're way up there. And so that requires our big ladder. I'm like, how are you guys digging this out? Because it's not a light thing.
Not me.
She's like, Jimmy's bigger than me. He can carry it. So, but yeah, so now the house is all, you know, the dust is, you know, because they collect dust over time, and it's been a while since I've been up there to take care of it. But I'm like, wow, that's the upside to a computer virus. We actually get some work done. That only lasted a day. Now he's just complaining that he doesn't have his computer. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. We're actually getting close to having it virus-free. But yeah, the virus he got really buries itself in this stuff and hides itself well. And you know, we got antivirus on the computer. We use a couple different tools that didn't pick it up, except for the activity that it does. Because every computer, every time it installs, it changes, so it doesn't look the same. So virus software can't detect it when it's coming in. And he had gone to a website, and it was an infected website that pushed that out. So, you know, just be careful. Make sure you got antivirus. And there's some things that I'm going to do to actually limit our exposure in the future, to limit what happens when he goes to those sites. Like, give you some good tips here for you. Don't have administrator privileges on the account that you use regularly. Use a limited user, so a standard user that can't do installations. That will limit how much virus that you can pick up on your computer when you're just browsing and doing stuff. Because oftentimes you need that ability to install stuff for these viruses to root into your computer. And Jimmy's account that he was using on the PC had been administrative, had that level where he could do installation. So we're creating a new account that he doesn't use for when he wants to put something on there. But his day-to-day, when he's playing on the computer is going to have a restricted, just a standard user that can't do installations. So if he happens upon any websites that are like that, these are his gaming site. One of the gaming sites that he had went to is where he got the virus from. So we're going to change up kind of his account so that it's a little more protected once we get everything cleaned up. Once we get a clean bill of health, then we're going to change it up, and then it'll just require that he logs in under this other special account to do installations, but then back to his normal account to actually use. So for people that haven't got a virus and want to, well, this is for Windows PCs. You know, they have you can create multiple accounts with different privileges.
Are you talking email accounts?
No, just a computer on your computer. You don't. If you have one account on your computer, it's probably an admin account that you don't need to log into. It just turns on and it goes right into that account. You can create additional accounts onto your computer, so when it starts
is that
up,
where I choose like the fish or the dog or the? Yeah. Okay. You need to simplify this for me.
Yeah. So you could create additional accounts. Generally, when you set up your computer initially, you've got admin rights to do everything, installs and whatnot. But that also gives, when you come across a virus or something, it gives that virus the ability to install itself onto your computer. If you're working on an account that has limited rights on the computer, you will get an error, or it won't have the ability to install itself, which keeps the computer clean. It's a small inconvenience compared to trying to clean this stuff up later, and that's.
Is that like the cookie thing where I can't do things on your Mozilla?
That's another safeguard thing that I do on ours. I disable cookies, and it's a whole. I can go on and on about computer stuff, but I won't bore you to tears. But that's a couple of things that we're going to do with Jimmy's account, just because of this virus thing. He's really careful about what he does. He knows not to open things, but lately there's been websites that are having the ads and stuff that could get pushed out through these websites, or websites that have been hacked by hackers will push these viruses out when you visit them. And it may be a website that you commonly go to and haven't had an issue. If something happens and they root that in, especially if it's a popular website, you could pick up a virus or whatever just by visiting the website. So, you know, it's one of those things that you got to be careful of, and they're trying to steal information about you, and you know, there's a financial component to it nowadays. It's more than viruses back in the day used to be more to destruction, you know, trying to mess people's computers up. Now it's to sit there in the background and feed personal information that they can then sell. They actually sell personal information.
I know this is what you learned from
meetings. I went to a cybersecurity seminar this last week, and yeah, you get a whole earful, and it's really scary when you think about how much is going on out there. But there's a lot of stuff that's
creepy. Yeah.
In our little insulated farm here, you know, you don't think about it, but out there in the world, there's a lot of stuff happening. You know, I deal with it from a business perspective and not really kind of the personal PC perspective, but you can protect your PC from viruses by doing just some real basic things like setting these accounts up to restrict what's capable of these viruses when they get on there. Or if you come across them, it'll actually stop them from installing. So, yeah, little PSA there for you. I wasn't planning on going too deep into that, but what the heck? It's a benefit if you are listening, because you're probably watching this on a computer of some sort.
That's true.
So there's safety things that you can do to just help safeguard yourself from that sort of stuff.
Well,
that was the first thing.
That's your real job.
Well, yeah, I'm a geek.
Yeah.
And then our ice maker. I had mentioned a while back that we had our ice maker go out, and I fixed it, and then it stopped working again. I ended up just buying a replacement one. So
yeah.
So we got ice again.
But then the replacement one can fix the other one. We
have 2 refrigerators, and The one in the kitchen, that one broke. So we started using the other one in our garage more to bring in ice and put it in there. And then eventually that one broke, and I fixed that one, and it broke again. It's like, But the part that keeps breaking in that one, I could take out of the old one, and so I'll get everything good at least for another couple years, hopefully. It's nice.
Well, you've had the one in the garage since.
I had that one since I moved into my own apartment, so it's been a year or two. You know, I'm really younger than I look.
Yeah.
No, I've had that one for quite a long time. That was like my first appliance I bought. You know, I was getting my own apartment, and that was get to go and
But
shop.
I mean, to think how long that is.
Yeah, it's held up well,
And
the ice maker, there's a little arm in there that's plastic that ended up cracking, and so I've epoxied it back, and then that epoxy job broke, and then I epoxied it back again. But that arm is the same arm that's in our kitchen ice maker that stopped working. I can take the arm out of that one and put it in there, and everything will work good.
So what else did you break this week?
And then lastly, it was like one of these weeks. We have a safe in our house, and I went to open it the other day, and go turn the arm to open it, and I hear clink. I just hear the metal hit, and the door is frozen stuck. There's several arms that go out, and when you engage the lock mechanism that keeps the safe, right? It locks everything in there. Well, these rods that go out are connected to the mechanism by these little arms that have little pins in them. Well, lo and behold, the one that gravity is going to have the most effect on that drops down, that arm broke. The little pin broke on it, and the arm dropped down and locked the door without any way of getting it back up. I'm like...
Because this is not a little, this is bolted into the ground. It's a big safe.
Well,
there ain't no...
it's not one that you can just pick up and play with. So let's just put it that way. So I was going through trying to think, because I can't look at how it's all worked out to, it's like from memory, and my memory doesn't work quite as well as it used to. But fortunately for me, I've got the art of understanding mechanics. So I was able to figure out a way through drilling a small hole into the safe in a specific spot where I could actually get that bar propped up and get the door open. So it's like, I think that wouldn't be fun trying to, because the steel is thick, and it would not be a fun thing if I had to try and figure out how to get into that. Because I might have to call my neighbor. Our old neighbor that we used to live next to. He's a locksmith, and
well, it wasn't. You couldn't get it unlocked.
No, it wasn't a lock thing. But you can't take the hinges off.
When he's like, I haven't grabbed the blowtorch yet, and I'm like,
yeah. So I managed to get that actually open and fixed for the most part, where we won't have that issue. I still have to track down some parts to try and replace the broken piece, but long story short, it opens and closes, and now it locks and it's secure. It's frustrating to think. It's like, why didn't it do that after I got the door open, and then at least I could have addressed it? But
things don't work that way.
Yeah, no. But so that was my week, is like fixing things.
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes it interesting sometimes. Make your brain think about things you don't normally do, like how to get into a safe that's broken. Just call me the safe cracker. Like, Jimmy, come here. Let me teach you how to do this. Teach you something. Has skills of getting into a safe. Yeah, what I did though wouldn't have worked if the safe was locked.
Yeah.
That's not.
You got to know the combination.
You wouldn't have. The reason why it works is that one rod was completely disengaged from the mechanism, right? All the other rods were pulled out of the way except that one rod. So I could get the one rod lifted while the other rods are all in where they need to be so the door would open. If you couldn't do that if it was locked, because you have too many rods and they won't move with those arms in place. And I found out working on it, if you try and pop the mechanism out by drilling where the dials and stuff are, it actually locks everything in place and you can't do anything from that point. It's got some safety mechanism.
Now, how would you know this?
Because I had the plate off and it was
okay.
locking everything in place. I was trying to figure out how that was happening because I was trying to make it work. But
He, since he was little, has been taking things apart, and
I enjoy,
I feel sorry
understand.
for your mom.
Hey, I got all the broken stuff. When things broke in my house, my parents handed it to me, and I had my own set of tools, and I used to take things apart and to figure out how they work because that fascinates me. I like to learn how things work, and it's helpful when you run into things like this. Is that okay? You think through mechanically how they work, you can figure out how to get or bypass some of the things that are there if you needed to. So. Okay, but that's enough. Enough of my stuff. I keep you guys entertained. And see, I said it was going to be a short podcast. I can't talk. Yeah, my voice is not working today. But yeah, so that was my my farm happenings for the week. Hopefully next week will go a lot smoother. No broken things.
Yeah.
So, did you have anything in the farm happenings?
No, I just did homeschool stuff. Jimmy and I went trick-or-treating at stores.
Yeah, that's it. You just
much easier.
Yeah, you get the candy. You get the candy you want. Just you're done and good. We don't get trick-or-treaters where we're at.
Yeah,
they would have to. They would walk miles to hit about 4 or 5 houses. It wouldn't last too long. And so yeah, we don't get any trick-or-treaters here.
I think the electric gates would kind of.
Well, that's another issue. But you'd have a long walk in between houses. You'd have to go trick-or-treating by car, horse, or motorcycle or something.
So, Farmer's Almanac. This is just all you today. This is our third question from Polly81.
Okay.
And he says, do you surf Ravelry for patterns? I'm wondering why all the Y's they took out, the Y's turned to V's on my printout.
It's the Y, it's a font issue.
Oh, okay. So do you surf Ravelry for patterns?
Actually, I get on Ravelry on very few occasions, and it's usually to respond to people that have messaged me or kind of see what's going on in the group and see what discussions, but I don't usually search for patterns. I usually have my pattern coordinator here put together my projects for me when I'm doing stuff.
Or ones you've been gifted to.
Or yeah, I get I don't usually shop for patterns. I've got a lot. I don't knit a lot. I'll be honest, I don't. I do a bit, but I'm busy with other things. I've got a lot of stuff that happens when I'm at home, like broken safes, broken ice makers, and bad computers, and so yeah. So I don't knit a whole lot. I get in if I find a good pattern that, like the shawl and stuff that I did, it's fun. I'll knit more on the patterns I'm enjoying and stuff. But it's kind of hit and miss. But I don't usually shop around for patterns because I got a list of patterns I haven't even started, and so I don't usually shop around for more things just because I pace myself on what I've already got.
Is there a project you would really like to knit or crochet?
I really enjoyed the shawl that I made you.
The Zuzu's petals.
The Zuzu's petals.
Yeah.
I like the figuring out the mechanics. Kind of goes back to I like to figure out from knitting how that all works, how the different stitches make different patterns in the yarn. So it's fun getting into a knit project where I've got a lot of different things I try, and then I can figure out how, if you do this, you end up seeing that in the pattern. That interests me. That's what I enjoy about the different things. And the Zuzu petals is really intricate, and you're teaching me how to read the pattern, so you see how that all works out. So if I miss a stitch, it happens occasionally, I can see it before I get too far along to have to go back and back up too much. So
yeah.
But yeah,
because I don't think you enjoyed the Hitchhiker as much.
That seemed like it just
slog.
It's just like I like to keep my brain going. And with the Zuzu pedals, it's like, okay, you get this, and you've got a lot of stuff happening. So it keeps my brain engaged on what I'm doing, as opposed to, okay, knit 300 rows. Okay, purl 300 rows. You know, it's like, it just, you know, I enjoy the more, you know, okay, you do knit 4, slip stitch, you know, it keeps you more interacting with what's in front of you. So that's how my mind works. I'll fall asleep if I don't have something stimulating going on in front of me. So that's a little insight into my brain. So see right there.
Okie dokie. So
good question, though.
Yeah, it was a good question. And that was the last one. So until we get more questions in the thread,
we're gonna put the Farmer's Almanac on the shelf.
On the shelf. So in the coop this week is, of course, my Scrappy Happy blanket, and this is Shelley King mitered squares pattern, and these are, I had to think, Mad 79. Melanie sent me these. So here's 3. It finished up the row, one right? Square. I forgot to chop that off because I weave in my ends every time I do. There's no end. When this is done, it's done. It's been done, but I've restarted because I don't want it to end.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think about if you don't weave them in as you finish up, how much extra work you're going to have.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing that you do as you complete each one. Then it's finished and you can keep moving forward.
So then these 2 are Mad 79s, and then these 2 are from Courtney, Knit and Purl Girl. But they're not enough on the scraps to finish, so I had to fill in, and I don't know if that's going to pull apart, so I'm gonna save those for my 10 stitch. But these were the 2-ish that had enough, so yeah, now I'm gonna have to find, because I already had started that row, find some more scraps, because I'm now out again, or I might put it away for a while and build up my mini skein stash again. And
well, you got
plus I got the 10 stitch that I could be working on, and so yep. But it's so neat because even when I'm working on ones like from Melanie, you know, I'll see, oh, that one was from Sasha, or, you know, that one was from Knitty Van Cat. And, you know, so even though you're not still knitting with the yarns they sent, or Philippa, you know, you still think of them. And, you know, I always do a little prayer, or, you know, just a smile, or it's just all happy.
Yeah. I know. You enjoy that.
I love this. So, yeah.
And you're heading into a time of year, it's good to knit on that because it's warm and it's been... And
I think I've decided that I'm going to, once it's all done, I'm going to actually do an applied, just went out of my... I know it's it's got a word. Fibertown, applied I-cord edging. Thank you, Emily. I knew you would just be loud enough, you know, or Alice is, you know, licking my ear osmosisly to
I-cord edging.
I-cord edging, yeah. I YouTubed it and looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, I think...
So what is that? You do a normal I-cord and you pick up as you go?
Yeah, it was quite interesting. And I watched the Knit Picks Kelly Petkin one on YouTube, and seeing how because I think that would look nicer than crocheting an edge on this, because see, that's going to kind of bug me because this is all knitted, and putting you know, putting crochet on
a knitted thing.
Yeah, I know it's okay,
but
it's going to irritate me.
Yeah.
So I think and it's going to take forever, but I think that will look the nicest on here. I think Knitting Pipeline actually did a knitted, what the heck did I just call it? An applied I-cord edging. This does not want to compute in my head today.
It's too many words right there.
Yeah, too many. You got me all befuddled with all that computer jargon, you know. You know, my brain wants to turn off.
Let me start calling out numbers. You want to see?
That's when I... That almost got the snort. So
the things you guys miss out on behind the scenes.
So then in my Sew For You bag, I have James's sock and I did maybe 2.5 inches, not too much, because this is generally a project I would take from room to room with me. Like if I have a second, I would knit on it, but I have to be very careful because this is bleeding like nobody's business on my hand, the red. So if I'm in a red stripe, this does not get moved at all, because then I go and touch something and it gets red on it. So I've got to be careful when I'm knitting this, and I did have you buy some color catchers.
It's the
Shout color catchers. So.
Yeah, it's a little packet thing. We'll see if that doesn't pull out.
Sasha told me about those to make sure, because my hands just get red, and if it's coming off my hands from knitting on a sock, it's like, ooh,
it'll bleed
crap.
into.
So, it's fun. And it smells good because I got my country Christmas Wolf Farms scent thing in there. Cool. So that's another project. And then I have for our knit along, I've already done what did I do? What sweater was that?
Which sweater?
The Irish Coffee for our knit along.
Oh.
I've done that one by Thea Coleman. And then now I'm doing Vodka Lemonade. And of course that's by Thea Coleman because that's our designer along. So I'm doing this. And this was a gift from Just Run It, Megan. And I'm doing it out of Cash Vero DK Cascade yarns in this gorgeous peachy color. And it's in my tree Sasha bag. I just love these. And if something you don't know about me, I am a green thumb.
Yep.
I love plants and trees, and I actually have California redwoods growing in my kitchen that I started from a seed, and they're like,
they're coming along.
Big. And then I have another pine tree. So
we start our trees in the house. They make their way out. We got an apple tree that we started from a seed.
It's 8 feet high now. It's tall.
It's
That's
probably more like
too.
9 feet tall right now. It's growing.
And some of the trees in our orchard I've actually started by seeds, and I have a seed issue.
Because it's funny because I'll do this at work when I eat a lot of apples and stuff. I take those to work, and I'll when I open them up, sometimes you'll find an apple where the seed has already started to sprout. Well, that's an easy one. You just stick it in the dirt and it starts to grow. And so I'll bring these home and we'll just plant them and get trees started. So
I got a lemon tree. I need to bring that back inside since it's cold, but.
Yeah, so it's kind of
and
fun.
I actually, in our bedroom, I have a tree in our bedroom. It actually was a 2-inch thing in my grandfather's funeral arrangement, and it's now 20 feet high.
We keep chopping it in half and replanting the rest. So it's like, and this tree is like, you would believe.
It takes up my whole window.
It's fairly slow growing. And you're able to cut it off and replant, and it'll root on its own.
Yeah.
But we have a pot that is probably this big, and the thing grows, and then when it hits the ceiling, you cut it in half, and you plant it back in, and it grows. And then I bought you another one.
Yeah.
Because it started in the bathroom, and this little pot, and it overgrew, and we ended up, we got this huge pot in our bedroom that's this, it's beautiful, huge leaves. I mean, it's a beautiful plant. So I bought Dawn another one for the bathroom where the old one was. And now that thing is going crazy. It likes I think it's more of a tropical plant of some sort or whatever it is. But I don't know what it is, but it loves the moisture in the bathroom and it goes, you know. So, and that, I have no idea what it is, but it's growing.
And then when I did daycare when I was 15, I have a plant and it has traveled from house to house, and
Yeah, it still goes.
it's still, yeah.
She's good. She remembers to water them. That's the first step in green thumbs. You got to remember to water your plants.
Well, that, and I turn them and talk to them. And
Yeah.
happy plants.
Happy plants.
Totally off topic. And how that applies to, trees.
Trees.
Sasha.
See?
There we go. Sasha
Sidetracked.
trees, yeah. I'm like, where the heck did I get trees out of vodka? So, I'm losing my balls. So, it's getting bunched on these needles. These are size 5s, because that seems to be all I use anymore. And so I did about 8 inches, because I am to the point of separating for the sleeves. But, so, yeah. This is super fun. I'm loving this. I'm loving how the texture on this with this yarn. And this is a discontinued yarn, which that totally sucks, but because I love this yarn so much. And I have found some on D-Stash, but I noticed a lot of them on D-Stash since they know it's discontinued. Because I got this for like $3 or $4, but they're charging like $9 or $10 a ball. And I'm like, seriously?
Profiteering.
Yeah.
For those that love the yarn so much.
But I have thought, because I just love this so much. So, yeah, you can see the Dicky Do, so that's a lot of...
Yeah, you've been knitting pretty exclusively on that one all week. So.
And I'm feeling that, and then I start thinking, oh, I need to be knitting on something else because you guys are going to get bored seeing the same old thing, but this is what I'm wanting to do, and I'm loving it, and that's what your knitting should be, is you're just want to love it and touch it, or, you know. You
can tell when Donna enjoys a project and when she doesn't. So you obviously... A lot of knitting, and you can tell when she talks about it that it's one she's enjoying.
Well, the needles are perfect. The yarn is perfect. It's in a super happy bag, and you know, just everything. It should make you glow from the inside out, and just like it's Christmas. You know, that's how your knitting should be. That you're excited to knit on it and can't wait to touch on it. And
so the excited knitter is the one that looks like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yep. And by the way, what I'm wearing, before I forget, because you know that's going to happen, it is the Ripple Rock shawl, and that was a pattern gifted by Knittables, Diane, and the designer is Judy Marples, and it's done in cakewalk yarns, because this was a gift from Rose, and she did it for our podcast in the sincerest colorway. And it was inspired by the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Which you love.
Yeah, which I love. So she had sent that gift. So we had a knit along 2 years ago? Last year? No, 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So, because she's no longer dying. And then the orange color is... orange color was something, dang, I don't even have it in my notes. I'm a bad podcaster. My goodness. It's something podcaster, the name. Not that you can get these, she's not dying no more. I wish she was, because I love her. You've never used the yarn that she sent you?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Better get knitting.
That'd be some cool socks, but yeah, it's nice, and the texture's really cool on it. And
yeah, I remember you knitting on that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
As a fun knit. And they have the Tervis in the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown too. Oh. So yeah, the $25 for the cup thing kind of gets to me every time though, because I'm like, that's a sweater's worth of yarn.
Yeah, I know that's yarn money there. I can drink out of my old Tervis.
That's right.
Just as good as the new one.
Oh, I got something in my eye. So yep, that's all I'm knitting on. All right. And then Squeal like a pig this week.
You got a little
I got a surprise, and Woolly Love, Dancing Dog Dye Works on Instagram, had mentioned she had a skein of yarn there, and she's like, what would this be, what would be a good pattern, use my English. And so, you know, I had told her, you know, because I've seen Michelle and how cute and petite she is, and I'm like, oh, I know the perfect sweater pattern for that, you know, to go with the yarn. And so all of a sudden I get a package in the mail, as a thank you because she chose the pattern that I had suggested. So I'm like, oh, that's so cool, which I cannot wait to see that sweater now. So this is Dancing Dog Dye Works in her twist sock 100% superwash merino in the Lulu's Dragon colorway. So super pretty. Of course, every colorway by Michelle is gorgeous. So I hoard it. I've knit with a lot of it, but I hoard it.
That's your little mini stash.
Yeah. It's like so. So that was really cool and
awesome.
Squeed. I squeed.
You squeed.
I do squeed. You might hear it. Sometimes it might shake the walls. So in the arena, I mentioned our designer along is Thea Coleman, and there's lots of cool sweaters and capelets and ponchos and hats being knit, and so that's pretty fun. My goal is 3 sweaters, although I am so obsessed with Thea Coleman. She's going to think I'm a stalker for one, because I want to knit all her sweaters. In fact, I just added 3 this. See, that's another reason a lot didn't get knit, because I'm busy. Ravelry, it goes and it sucks you in.
Time suck, huh?
Yeah, because then I'm like, oh, I got to knit that pattern. So 3 new sweaters went, and I haven't bought them yet because I'm like, restraint. Calm, Dawn, calm.
Pace yourself.
But I might have gone and bought some yarn at Webb's.
Which is surprising.
Yeah.
Dawn is the window shopper.
Yeah, and to actually spring and push by, probably Sasha fell off her chair, as she's sitting there sewing when I said I bought it. But I go into the bargain area. This wasn't in, because at Webb's they have a garage sale area, and then they have discontinued colors, which it's like half price just because they discontinued the colors. Well, it was hot pink.
Imagine that.
And then there was a bright green, and it's like, buy it now.
Pink and green.
Pink and green. Then I did get notified while Jimmy and I were trick-or-treating at the store that they, now if they would have just packaged when I ordered, because it said 50 skeins, but, we've had problems where it says we have stuff and it...
But they waited like 4 days to actually
package it. But there was anyways, with the green, there was another color, like a oak color, which I was debating about because I have a lot of green sweaters.
So but they didn't have the green. They contacted you and said, "Do you want to swap it out with a different color?" Or
which is good because the other color I was going to swap with, they had that. So I'm excited. So yeah, but so the whole Ravelry Happy Mail next week. Yeah. So that it just sucks you in like nobody's business, and it's like, I need to get off of here.
get some farm stuff done.
Yeah.
Farm chores.
Farm chores. So let's go into Roundup. We had Hatch a Knit that we do every month, and that's where you can enter any project, whether it's an old project that whatever you finish into the thread. Knitted,
crocheted, spinning, any fiber art project you've got going, you can do. So.
Why are you looking at my hair?
I'm looking at you.
Oh, I thought I got something in my hair.
That's a whole other discussion. Yeah. Oh, do I have something on my face?
Oh, I love going through a drive-through, and if you see the people by the window and you go, "Oh, I'm so bad."
Ornery redhead.
That's when I'm ornery. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's usually because you see them start.
Because you're low when you're getting food, right?
That's true, yeah. Not that I ever go through a drive-thru because I can't eat anything in it anymore, but
it's usually
I'll do it to you at the dinner table, too.
You try it.
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah, I don't pick up on hints, so it doesn't work so well.
So, back to our Hatch a Knit. This is like off-topic Sunday.
Sidetrack.
Yeah, but that makes it funny.
I know. We try and entertain
I humor myself. So our Hatch a Knit, we had 2 prizes this month, and that is for a Wolf Farm gift certificate for $10. And the first winner was number 63. I think we had like 250 entries. Yeah. And number 63 was Stitched by Sasha. Wow. She actually won. I'm like, wow! And she did a cool hat for her husband. And then number 133, which is Nana Sue's, which is Susan, and she did a sweater, so it was like, woohoo!
Awesome.
So contact me with your email. Sasha, don't. I know where I can hunt her down.
You know where to find her.
I know where to find her. So that was pretty cool, both of you. So congratulations, and next month, for our November Hatchinette, enter your projects in.
You got a lot of holiday knitting and crochet and whatnot. Take a picture, add that in, and you could get yourself a $10 gift certificate for Wolf Farms.
Yeah.
Get some more good stuff.
Yeah.
So does that wrap things up then? We don't have any?
That wraps it up.
All right. Well, I wanted to remind you that we do have the free Wolf Farm Video Podcast button. You can get one of those for free with any paid order at wolffarms.net. Just during your checkout, put in the comment section that you would like one of the video podcast buttons, and we'll be happy to stick that in the package when we're shipping that off to you. And then you can decorate your knitting bag or your button monster or whatever you want. With the decorative Wolf Farm button. But I think that's about it for now.
Yeah.
Hopefully nothing breaks beyond this point, huh?
So until next time.
Let's get cracking and hatching it. Bye, y'all.